with Moses, have you ever done any research to find out if there was like any familiar stories during the time that kind of coincides with the story of Moses and is actually a little bit too familiar?
No. You mean like any historical character, historical evidence of his existence outside the Bible?
Yeah, like for me, I mean, I believe that the Moses story was actually taken from the story of Sargon when it came to the Akkadians, because that's
Uh,
the same exact story. I mean, there's
oh, I see now. I don't think so. I don't know about much about this Sargon. Maybe I don't know. Don't
Sargon.
know anything about Sargon. It's possible that they could be the same person with different names in different traditions. Uh, you know, I mean,
Well,
there are.
that would make the story of the of Moses older though than what they're claiming it is. That would actually make it like 2,000 years older than what the story of Moses really is. Because
Okay.
Sargon with Akkad happened like 2,000 years before any of that, maybe even longer, 3,000.
What was Sargon of what? Akkad?
Akkad, yeah, he was
Okay.
actually the first person to create. He created the first empire in history,
Empire of what?
Samaria.
Okay.
He
Uh, I mean, the Sumerian was there when, at the time of, in biblical times, and it's mentioned in the Bible. So there's, there can't be coincidence. It can't not be, it can't, I don't, can't be the same person.
uh,
Moses and this Sargon.
the story though for me it's too familiar. Like synchronicity is what really sticks out to me. Where I've heard a lot of people say, with syncreticity, it's not really um, people intentionally borrowing a story and all that stuff, you know, but they like for some reason have this level of enlightenment or some crap like that. You know what I mean? But I also know that like people today, they take things lightly about how smart people back then were, like, and how connected these societies were. You know what I mean? Like they think that just because this happened way over here, there's no way these people over here could have known about it, and that's not true. They had a very, very close network where they
Well,
inter.
no, it's, yeah, there are ways. So Sargon, just searched up a little bit about him. So he was in the 24th, 23rd century BC,
Hmm. Yeah,
and Moses is in 13th century BC. How they have they're so far apart from each other in terms of geographical location. Uh,
well, I mean,
and way back in ancient time, there would have been no way for stories from one end to reach the other.
that's not true. Like you know how we talk about the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages. Not too many people realize that we also had a dark age during that time period too, when Assyria fell. When Assyria fell, I mean, that's when things went dark for a lot of history during that time period. And a lot of people don't realize that they had huge freaking trade routes and communications among one another. And it was mostly done because of Syria, which I don't think that they were really that great of an empire. They were pretty horrible and everything, but they were actually a huge part of the infrastructure during that time period. You know, and when they fell, that created a dark age. So I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people really minimize how much these people knew back then. Like there was a lot of interaction between between these societies, between the Sumerians and the Assyrians, and then the people in Levant.
Did Sargon have similar stories about overcoming slavery? Was there a similar pharaoh character in the Sargon story?
Well, with Sargon was actually he was the cup holder first, and he ended up rising to power because he was told to deliver something to another king. Who, when he got there, the letter was that he sent with him, or the message that he sent with him, was to from his emperor was. He was told in the letter to murder Sargon, and instead of murdering Sargon, this guy explained to him what the message he delivered said, and he ended up helping him defeat the guy who had sent him, because he was the cup holder and all that, and he was jealous of Sargon because of how he was supposed to be. So that's the basic gist of that. And then after that, he was able to unite Sumerian, supposedly, and created the first empire. Now, the weird part about that story is they do not know where Akkad is located. The city of Akkad. It's been a mystery. So, and the Akkadians were freaking the first Semitic-speaking people.
Okay.
Which
so the only similarity between the two of them is their birth.
Well, the story behind their birth.
The story behind their birth, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're like totally different, like life and. Okay. So I mean, I don't know. So.
I'm just saying that story about Sargon was taken and used for the story of Moses.
Yeah, I don't believe that. But okay, that's it's an interest claim, but you have no proof that he did that.
I got the proof. Just read the story, man. It's like that's
they're similar. You know, the flood story in the Western civilization. The Chinese tradition also had a similar flood account.
That's not flooding. That's not a flood. That's a baby being sent down.
No, I'm talking about similarities between traditions.
Oh yeah. Now the flood.
It doesn't mean that one steals from another.
I'm not. I've learned to not use the word "steal" anymore. I'm using syncretize. It's where they incorporate different aspects of a religion into theirs. You know, and that they're like Buddhism. I've just been recently talking about it. They've been doing that a lot too. Like you had the Tao. You had the Japanese. What is that? They were doing it as. Their whole religion is completely different than what the Tao is even, and then you had the religions over in India. So there's different types of Buddhism where it was syncretized into one another. You know. No. That's I don't know. That's different, man. So there's one origin of Buddhism which comes from the Buddha. But then his disciples scattered throughout the world, and they have different tradition and practices. But they have different traditions, but they're still Buddhism, right? Right.
It's not whatever syncretism you're talking about, where different regions copy. No, they're actually disciples of Buddha spreading out the world, just like the disciples of Christ went out and evangelized the whole world about Jesus. And so So I don't know what that says about syncretism. I don't.
Well, I mean,
I don't.
for me, I see uh, I see a longer relationship between Egypt and the Levant than what people are making it out, especially when it comes to like the story of Moses. You know what I mean? There's always been a relationship between Egypt and Jerusalem, and like what I was talking about with uh, Quintelet, that was where they found symbols and inscriptions that combined Israelite religious elements like Yahweh um, with imagery that had ties to other Near East uh, groups. You know what I mean? And a lot of it included Egyptian influence. Um, and this was in their motifs and in their paintings and pottery. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, by all accounts, according to the Jewish tradition, that temple that they had there shouldn't have even been there because it goes against the Jewish traditions. There should have only been one temple, and that should have been in Jerusalem. You know, so I did find that interesting.
Wait, so where do you say what other temples do they have?
This one was found in the Sinai. It was called Kuntalit Adrud. And this was just a pilgrimage route. It was where it was where caravans. It was a little fortress where caravans would rest and stop and trade, and it was a pilgrimage route. They just found it out in the middle of the desert.
Is it a Jewish temple?
Yeah, well, it's a blend between an Egyptian, Jewish, Phoenician, and Canaanite.
Okay.
All of them kind of like migrated into one like synchronized religious belief. It was interesting when I found out about it. It's actually it's very rare to find stuff like that.
Okay. Well, maybe some offshoot of Judaism went up and create their own temple. I don't know. But as far as the Jews recognize, it's only one temple. Right?
There's also something else that we weren't able to discuss last night that I wanted to run by you, and it has to do with the term Yahweh.
Okay.
Okay, so Yahweh. Now, at one point or another, wasn't Yahweh a different form of worship when it came to Judaic beliefs? Weren't they
Yahweh came from Moses' encounter with in the bush, where it's an unpronounceable name of God.
Right.
It's right. It's like it's the letter. It's written in such a way that you cannot say it except to utter like so. It's like it's YWHY or something like that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like an unpronounceable name of God.
Right.
So so they try to say it as Yahweh, but yeah. So I think it originates from the Moses encounter.
See now I was that was actually something Nancy brought up too. Like she mentioned something about like exorcisms, and you know all about exorcisms being a Catholic.
Okay.
But like according to the Catholics, if you know the name of a spirit, then that gives you power over that spirit.
That's true.